Hello, today we will learn how to calculate the network addresses of the given IP address. So in this we will learn how to calculate subnet mask, broadcast ID, network ID or the other IP addresses of the given IP addresses. So the given IP address is 192.168.1.5. So how to calculate the subnet mask, broadcast IP address and the network IP address or the other related IP address of the given IP address. So here 192 in the first octet represents the class of an IP address. It means it gives about the indication of the class to which this IP address belongs. Thus, this IP address belongs to the class C, as we know the range of the private IP addresses. Then calculate the subnet mask. As this IP belongs to the class C, so the subnet mask of class C be 255.255.255.0 or /24. So it means the first three bit in the first three octet represents the network ID or the network bits, and the last octet represents the host bit. So now calculates the network IP address. So to calculate network IP address, make all host bits equal to 0. So by making the all host bit equal to 0, it will give us the network IP address of the given IP. So the network IP address of this IP address is 192.168.1.0. And now we have to calculate broadcast IP address. So to calculate broadcast IP address, make all host bit equal to 1. So making all host bits equal to 1, this will give the broadcast IP address, that is 192.168.1.255. This is the broadcast IP address of the given IP address. So now we will calculate about the other IP address range or the range of the IP addresses. So the range lies between 192.168.1.0 to 192.168.1.255. Means the range lies between network address to the broadcast address are the other IP addresses. So here total IP addresses are 256, from which one is the network IP address and other is the one broadcast IP address. So these are the invalid IP addresses. These are not used to assign to the device in the network. So the remaining are 254. 254 IP addresses are the valid IP addresses and can be used in the network or can be assigned to a device in a network. We can also calculate the number of IP addresses by calculating the host bit. So we know that here the number of host bits are 8. So 2 raised to power 8 equals to 256, which tells the total IP addresses, from which 2 are the invalid IP address. By subtracting 2, we get 254, which are the valid IP addresses. Let's take another example, that is 170.168.60.1. This is the other IP address. So here the 170 in the first octet represents class. So this IP address belongs to the class B. Then we have to calculate subnet mask. To calculate subnet mask, the subnet mask of class B is 255.255.0.0 or /16. So it means the first two octet represents the network bit and the other two octet represents the host bit. So same as to make as to find network IP address of the given IP, make all host bit equal to 0. So by making all host bit means last two octet equal to 0, we get the network IP address. So the network IP address is 170.168.0.0. Whereas to calculate broadcast IP address, make all host equals to 1. Host bits equal to 1. So making host bit equals to 1, we get 170.168.255.255 as the broadcast IP address. The next is to find the range of the IP addresses. So the range lies between this 170.168.0.0 to 170.168.255.255 are the other IP addresses. So the range lies between network address and the broadcast address are the valid IP addresses which can be assigned to the device in the network. So this represents the range of the IP address. Next is total IP address. Here total IP addresses are 65,536, or from which the one is the network IP address and the other is the broadcast IP address. Means these two IP addresses are the invalid IP addresses which we can't use in the network. So there are total 65,534 IP addresses left which act as a valid and can be used in a network. Or we can also calculate this total number of IP addresses as we know here the number of host bits are 16 because it covers the 2 octet of the host bit. So there are 16 host bits. So 2 raised to power 16 equals to 65,536, which represent total IP addresses, from which the 2 are the invalid IP address. So to subtract 2 IP address, we get the 65,534 valid IP addresses. So this is all about how to calculate the subnet mask, network ID, or the broadcast ID of the given IP addresses. So this is all for today. Thank you.